What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of TV Talk. We'll get into our episode proper here in about 15 minutes. But before that, we've got to talk about this week's episode of The Last of Us,
The most
Endure and Survive.
heartfelt, happy, joyful show in the world. Am I right?
Yeah. Just
Boy,
You
it's
watch
something.
this show and you just feel like you're being hugged by a million fairies.
we have
it's amazing.
very different definitions of what being
Like
hugged
you're
by
laying in
million
a cloud about to take a nap. It's what I feel when I watch this show.
I assume that
Never. No.
I assume that's just what it feels like to be taken over by the cordyceps. It's
Yeah.
like just this smothering, and then it all
Then the
fades
kiss,
to
but-
black.
Yeah, then we make out a
Cloud.
little bit, and then we move forward. Yeah.
But
Last
yeah, so this week brought kind of the end of our Kansas City storyline.
Yep.
Luke's wearing some Kansas City gear.
We'll talk about that later.
That's different kind of Kansas City story. But
That one's happy. This one's not.
yeah. What did you guys think about this week's episode?
I'll keep it short because we'll unpack some of it later. This is probably my favorite episode of the season, yet the hardest one to watch.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I knew it was coming. I was
Yep.
prepared for it to hurt, and it still hurt
Oh, it
a
hurt
lot.
so bad.
I had a feeling it was coming.
It hurts
They
so
don't.
bad.
They don't really shy away
Mm-mm.
because it's.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I feel like it's. This is kind of The Last of Us in, I think, as a game and as a show. What they kind of do, they're like, you know what's gonna coming, and we're still gonna make it hurt you.
Yeah.
It's amazing character work, amazing performances from the actors that make it work so much. If it wasn't that, everybody'd be like, this is just another generic weird zombie thing.
Post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah.
But it's far from that.
Yeah.
It is far from that.
And yeah, when you get to the end of the episode with Henry and Sam, you're just spoilers, by the way. This is
Yeah.
all spoilers. So leave now if you're here for.
Yeah, hopefully you're watching this after watching the episode.
When you hit that last scene with Henry and Sam and Joel and Ellie in that room, and I'm sitting there going, I hated this part in the game.
In like an okay way.
In like a
not
good
like
way.
in a I don't like this.
It's
in
just-
like a yeah.
It's so sad what happens. And I remember when I played the game for the first time, I was just like, dude, no way.
Yeah.
Like, you assume they're gonna die at some point. It's a zombie game. But, like, just the way it happens, and it's so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game, it cuts to black right when he unalives himself.
Oh, yeah.
And it immediately goes into, like, the soft music with the guitar.
Mm.
And then it goes into the next season.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
you
just,
don't get
it's like
the-
sudden. You're just like,
You
oh
don't
my
get the
gosh.
burial.
No.
The
No.
burial
No.
is new.
Yes.
I thought that was a great moment to let us, the audience, catch our breath.
Yeah.
I think in a game where you're being more interactive, it might make a little more sense to not. You don't need that. Okay, I need a moment to come down. Like, part of that is introducing the next season and like whatever. But for the show to like
To
cut
see
the
it.
episode at that point would have been real weird. And I
Mhm.
think what they did with showing how Joel and Ellie both process what's going on there was really well done.
Yeah, and we get to see Bella Ramsey's reaction to when it happens. She just it's a shock and a why moment, and she does so good in that moment. I thought she was so good in this episode, especially her and the kid. Awesome.
Yeah, I thought all of, I thought to go back outside of that, I thought Kathleen was much better this week. It felt like the first, I feel like, and this is going to be, I mean, we can probably talk about it a little bit here. In last week's episode, like, you meet Kathleen and you're kind of like, okay, I get what you're going for. But then, like, you don't really know her motivations and why she is the way she is. And so I think they probably could have revealed that last week. I think it would have made her character a little better. But, I mean, they get to it all the same. It's just, I think when you first meet her, and there was a lot of uproar online about it. Even I think that could have all been quelled if they had done that last week. And I think it would have made things flow a little better because I feel like that kind of happened all of a sudden. We're like, oh yeah, hey, she hates this guy for this really impactful reason.
Yeah, a reason that makes sense.
Let us wrestle with that a little bit more. I think I would have liked that change, but otherwise, I mean, it's a nitpick, right?
It may be a nitpick, but I think it's interesting. We haven't talked about this, but it's the same nitpick I have. Looking back on kind of these 2 episodes as their own little storyline. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Kathleen in the first episode, but more of her leader, like her leadership style.
Yeah, and her ruthlessness.
I had a couple people, like we were talking, not you guys, separately about how like, oh, I just didn't feel like Kathleen would have been like the logical leader.
Yeah.
And when you learn that it's her brother and she's stepped into that role, like that's
big.
It's big. It makes sense then, and her vengeance.
Yeah.
But I think if we could have seen a little bit of that, it would have padded episode 4 a little bit too, given us a little more meat in there. I think that would have made this portion of the meal a little more satisfying. But at the end of the day, for this episode specifically, I thought it worked really, really well.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what it is. You look at these 2 episodes as one thing, right? Because that first episode felt so short. So I agree with you there. It definitely could have added to it. But then to go into like performances for Henry and Sam, those guys were fantastic.
Yeah,
they were so good. I liked a lot of what they did with them too, like to add to the story, give them a little more context.
Lamar Johnson is Henry, and Kavion Woodard as Sam, and Kavion Woodard. Holy crap!
He was awesome.
Fantastic performance. I cannot wait to see what else you do.
I hope that I don't know where he fits in anything, but I hope whatever it is, it's something big.
Yeah.
And everybody can get introduced to him. I mean, this is huge, but I hope he gets introduced on like a really big stage at some point too.
Yeah.
Because he was great.
Yeah.
Loved.
And that's not to undersell Lamar's performance either. I think oh man, the whole being up in the attic bit, the Super Sam.
Yeah.
Like his stuff with Joel was great, but honestly, it was the brother, it was the family things.
Yeah.
That at the beginning and then that terror, that horror at the end. Just a shit situation.
Just rips your heart.
I don't know, like yeah.
Something I think that's always, I don't want to say bugged me about that moment, but it's something like I always feel like they get right. I think they nail it. Is that like you don't want to think about if you were ever in that situation like in real life, but like if it were my brother and I, like I'm an older brother by a large age gap, and I was faced with that situation, I think I'd want to be the one that does it too. Like that's something with Henry. He's like, I'm not letting anybody else kill my brother. Like if somebody has to do it, it's going to be me.
Yeah. And
it's not from a place of like hatred or anything like that. It's just like, I don't want anybody else to do him wrong like that. And like, that's just so hard to wrestle with. Yeah. But I think I would probably like,
it's like that impossible situation.
Yeah. Like you don't want to put yourself in that situation, but I feel like I would probably do the same thing. Like just as like somebody, as a protector, you don't want anybody else to harm your sibling. Like I don't want to harm them either, but like it's just such a, I don't know. I've always felt like in the game, in the show, like that moment is so right. I think they just nail that. It's brutal.
What about the? We had a little video game sequence near the end of this episode.
Oh yeah.
With the release of the cordyceps and the bloater.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. Oh my gosh, I love the bloater.
Have you guys seen like the practical suit for that?
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
So
cool. Oh, we should fight,
bro. That was too close.
Should we take our shirts off and fight right now?
Yeah. No. My bad.
Yeah, no, the bloater suit's awesome. All the stuff with the cordyceps is really well done. The little girl was kind of creepy.
Oh yeah,
like, this is a thing.
Flipping her like flipping around in the van, chasing Ellie.
10-year-old contortionist or whatever.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And it's amazing to think about how much of that's practical. Like, they do such a good job.
They got the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
guy
that was a cool little thing.
Movement coach.
Yeah, I didn't. Dude, there's a job for everything. It's
Yeah, no, it's. I love watching the little after episodes, especially when they have like big sequences, like that one or the museum. Like it's really cool to hear them kind of unpack it and tell you kind of how they did it. But yeah, when they're like, "Yeah, we got the Planet of the Apes movement coach," I was like,
"What the heck?"
No wonder it looks so good.
Yeah. And then we got the death animation from the game on Perry too.
Yes.
Where he rips her head off. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Fighting those things are not fun.
Yeah. They're tough to kill.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, I thought that sequence was really good. What amazes me about the game is like whoever did like their location scouting to get these things to look like the game did a really good job, because like that street. I mean, I was like, dude, this feels just like it. Like I feel like I'm back in the game again. Like they just do such a good job with that. Like the location of the house, all of it, it's like perfect.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing.
I thought it was kind of cool too, because there's the moment where Joel is in the tower with the sniper, and he looks behind him, and there's the bridge, which is kind of like a thing in itself. He's like going, I could just run. I don't really care about these people. I just kind of want to find my brother. At least that's something he's fighting with, because he's starting to care about Ellie. But it's also kind of a nice nod to the game, because there's a bit in the game where you jump off a bridge and Henry and Sam kind of help you out after that.
Nice. Nice. The only other like moment that we haven't really talked about that I want to specifically mention is down in the tunnels. They get to the nursery area, and like I love how much story is told there without
Dan and Ish,
without just and I assume that's something with the game, but
there's a lot
sad
little notes you read. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That part is brutal. Like when they got down there, I was like, oh no. I was like, I don't want to do this again.
That's another part of the game too that I think would have been interesting to see in the show. But
I think it'd been scary.
Well, yeah. It's another clicker section of the game where Henry and Ellie get separated from Joel and Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like Joel has to trust Henry to watch Ellie, and Henry has to trust Joel to watch Sam, and then they eventually meet down the road. Or down the tunnel.
Oh, but when they get back together, that part's so cool. Like, everybody's running, you're like, oh no! But yeah, the tunnels is in the game fantastic. In the show, I thought they did a good job of capturing it, and it had another one of those moments that I really love. The soccer thing, yeah. It's like it's a moment where Ellie gets to be a kid, and like they talked a little bit about it in the after show. Which if you don't watch those, I know we've said it a few times, but make sure you check those out. They talk about some really cool stuff. But just those moments where Ellie gets to be a kid again, and even I think Bella Ramsey talked about it. Like, it was like the most like kiddish I've acted in the whole show.
We got it. They talked about the comic books too.
That was cool. That was a nice
Savage Starlight.
Yeah.
Endure and survive.
Yeah. I
name title of that.
I loved that. I loved watching them play soccer, watching Joel be an angry old man, like, hey, like yelling at them. It's just all those things. Those are the moments that I think make the game so great, is when they get to be normal people for a short amount of time, because
usually not that long.
Yeah, it's usually not long. So when you get those moments, they feel precious. They feel like they matter. They feel like they hold weight. And I think they've done a good job translating that from the game to the show.
Yep.
Agreed.
And just like every week, there's always a moment that I know is coming in the next episode that I'm really looking forward to. And I'm not gonna say what it is.
I'm excited.
Brett doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for kind of wide open spaces. Is what the little
out
preview.
Of the corridor cities. And stuff.
Yeah. Looks like there could be some cool storytelling opportunities there, and inevitably, I think we'll get probably a cold open. We'll get back to cold opens next week. My guess is with Tommy. We get to see what happened when Tommy and Joel got separated.
Rift. Yeah.
So.
Probably a good guess.
Just using my brain.
That's scary. You should probably not.
It is. That. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't. Okay. Any final thoughts on the episode? 10
out
of 10?
It's a good one, man. I like that a lot.
Say?
It's kind of one, like, I kind of dread rewatching it because it just hurts so bad.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just, like, skip the end of it.
Yeah. Easton in the chat said, you also don't know Sam is bit, right? I assume in the game.
I think it's revealed almost around the same exact moment.
I don't think they show the... Oh, that was a really sad moment in the episode when she's like, my blood will heal you.
trying
That's
to
not
help.
in the game.
No, that's not, yeah.
In the game, Sam's just kind of like... And he's not deaf in the game. He's just kind of like, do you think they're alive
That's
under
right.
there?
No, you don't know.
You don't know he's bit.
You don't know.
Like,
Good call,
you're kind of
Easton.
thinking like, I think he might be bit because it's a biter game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have an idea, but you don't know it for sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Good catch, Easton.
And then they wake up and he's...
Yeah, he's like going crazy.
Oh, that moment where I knew it was gonna happen. Like when Ellie wakes up and walks over and like,
and you hear him talk for the very first time, and it's a monster screaming. Oh, it's rough. Gosh dang it!
Yeah.
So well done though.
Also,
very
like Ellie's fear.
Yeah,
I'm scared of ending up alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like remember that. Table that.
Yeah.
Put that one in your back
for
pocket
later.
for a little while.